So you may be able to see through the window. It's a rainy day in England. So rainy, in fact, that the drive from where we're staying to here, it's only 10 miles, so it's 16 kilometers. Took me an hour to get here this morning because of severe flooding. I'm here by myself because Gill's sick today. Combine that with the fact that when I arrived here, I got a message from the electricians that they're completely cut off by flooding and they're not able to get here today. So I'm alone, which is good because there's only one Belgian bun left, so I don't need to share that with anybody. And since I'm alone, I've got the good coffee out today. And today's Friday. The plan was that the electricians were going to get most of the electrical work finished today. And myself and Gill were going to work in the small bedroom or the small room at the end of the house. Because the electricians aren't here, that's for me good news because they won't be in my way. So after I drank my coffee and I had a bit of the Belgian, I'll be down in the end room sanding away the old paint. Filled up many of the screw holes that were left. The previous owner seemed to have a thing about hooks and nails. In that room alone, I'm sure I removed 20 or 25 hooks from the walls. Each one left a great big hole. I filled those holes with a filler of some sort. In England it's called polyfiller. I'm not sure what the equivalents are called in the countries where you're watching from. But today's job is to sand it down, sand the skirting boards down, sand the windowsill down, and hopefully by the end of today put a layer of undercoat all the way around the room so that tomorrow or Sunday we can go ahead with painting it. Once we've painted it, we'll hang some curtains up at the window. We intend to get some low budget carpet, perhaps a remnant. It's only a small room, but to get some carpet in there. And then once the electricians are finished, we'll have one room that is kind of habitable. I plan to use that room for an office area where we can put the computer and also put one or two small chairs in there so that we can sit and get warm as we head through into the British winter. It's strange, I was just looking at the weather forecast in Austin, Texas. Austin is where Gill and I were living when I was first diagnosed with cancer. Today it's going to be 34 degrees Celsius in Austin, Texas. I think today in England, where I currently am, I'll be lucky if we see 16. I'm sure there won't be any rain in Texas at the moment. This weekend is going to be the Grand Prix in Austin. I'm sure we're headed for more rain here. There's a storm warning throughout Britain at the moment. As I mentioned, the roads here were flooded, severe flooding everywhere. I'm really pleased to see that the house has got no damage. There's no water leaking in from the roof. There's a tiny little soakaway or what looks to be a stream that runs across the road from the house. There's absolutely no sign of flooding in the street or in the area where we are. So if we can get through rain like this without any signs of flooding, then we've definitely bought a good house in a good location. Right, as always, nobody wants to see me eat the Belgian or drink the coffee, so I shall turn the camera off now and concentrate on eating the Belgian before I get to work. Thanks very much. See you later. So this room used to be a bedroom. It's going to be an office and a general area to sit during the renovation. Goal for today, take the light down, remove all of the screws and nails from the walls, There's probably about 50 or more screws and nails stuck in here and there. There's a shelf here that you can't see on camera, that's to come away. And then when all of those things have been done, remove the wallpaper. Doesn't sound like much work, but I'm sure I'll be busy. As soon as I started, I realised that the job wasn't going to be quite as hard as first imagined. I don't know what they'd used to stick the wallpaper on, but it certainly wasn't very sticky. Within a couple of hours, most of the wallpaper was off, and then the next challenge was clear to me. The walls underneath were not of a condition that I would like, but it is as it is, and you need to do your best and see what comes from it. So, that went quicker than expected. Off for the last, and time for a cup of tea. Now starts the fun, scraping off the loose paint. That was a job and a half. I didn't quite anticipate having that much to do, but I bought a very good sander from Screwfix, half-sheet sander, and did a wonderful job of cleaning off all of the old stuff. I had to take a couple of sockets off. Don't worry, the electricity in the house is all turned off, so there's no chance of me shocking myself or shocking Joe or anybody else. Only shocking them with the speed that I'm working. Sanding all around the doorway there, in and out, full of dust. Again, I'm surprised the camera can see me because there's so much dust in the room. Luckily, I don't have any hair, so I don't have any problems with the dust getting in my hair. Here we go, tidy as you go. Clean up the windowsill, and out came the trusty sander again. And the end result is pretty good considering what it started as. Needed to cut away a couple of cables here because they kept getting in the way. Filling up a few holes with polyfiller. And then more sanding. The skirting boards were filthy, but the sander with some 80 grit sandpaper soon made short work of it. You cannot believe how difficult it was to get up and down, and at the end it was just, I was crawling around on my knees, but I got there in the end. One of the things I'm never very good at is tidying up. Since I was there by myself without Jill to help me, I had to do the tidying up myself, and I did a fairly good job, come to think of it. There I was in the corner, thinking about going to sleep. I stayed awake, carried on working. Sun streaming in through the window. It will, when it's finished, be a bright, sunny small office. Okay, so sun shining. It's been about 3 hours past since I sat here and had my Belgian bun for breakfast. Most enjoyable that was. Now I've got a couple of cheese rolls for lunch. In the last few hours, I've been in the end room. I've been sanding away. I finished sanding the walls. I finished sanding the skirting boards. I'm pleased with my progress. What I did realise is as I was sanding the walls, the paint was flaking away. What people who do these renovation shows don't tend to tell you is that when you reach your limit of knowledge, it takes time to find out what you should do. If you have limitless money, you can hire contractors, you can hire painters, electricians, carpenters, all of the trades you want. And they are, as I say, they're trades. They've learned this, they've had many years experience. So a simple piece of flaking, they know what to do and they do it. For me, it's back to YouTube, take a look, see what I should do. And then what nobody else tells you in these shows, or very few shows that I've watched so far, is that you then have the time that you need to stop working, go and find somewhere that sells the materials that you need, and maybe the equipment you need, and then come back and carry on the job. Those things take time, they take money. I've seen programs where renovators say, well, we have a budget of 10,000 or 20,000. And I find it hard to believe, but I have to respect what they say in their budget. What I do wonder though is that there's the hidden cost that people don't talk about. There's the tools that you need to buy, for example, the paint rollers, the paint brushes, the screwdrivers, the vacuum cleaners, the sanders, and all of those things. What I will be doing is, together with Gill, we'll be keeping a tally of what we've spent on real materials. For example, paint, wood, chipboard, anything else, anything that we need for the actual building, plus a separate account of the hidden costs, the paint brushes, the rollers and everything else. So far, I guess that I've spent £250–300 on nothing, things that I need to do the job, but things that add no value to the property at the end of the day. Having said that, you can't do anything without the tools, so there's no point complaining. The only thing you can do is buy them and move on. And eat your cheese sandwich. So I'll switch off the camera now, get on with my cheese sandwich, and when I finish the sandwich, it'll be back into the end room. I'll be vacuuming the room out completely, and then putting the first coat of primer undercoat around the skirting boards and up the walls. Okay, so see you later. And now the fun part, the vacuuming. Again, new tool, new vacuum cleaner, industrial vacuum cleaner, so really good at cleaning up the dust and the dirt that's been hanging around there. Up those step ladders, oh, so tiring. Undo the light. And finalize the vacuum cleaning. Empty out the room, give it a good old final vacuum, then start the painting. When I look back on this video, I've got no idea why I did this with a brush. What we realized with the kitchen was, with the kitchen we didn't use any primer, we just went straight for the emulsion paint. In this room, I figured that the primer was the best way to go because the paint was so even. But doing it with a brush was absolutely crazy in hindsight. Hopefully I'll learn from it. We'll see. If not, I'll blame chemotherapy and the old chemo brain. It's covering fairly well. Not as good as a roller. Next time it'll be a roller. This is some good quality paint. The reason that in the kitchen we didn't use any primer was 1 tin of primer, it's about enough for this room, cost £35. In the kitchen we had 1 tin of paint, cost £14, and it was big enough to do 2 or 3 kitchens. Well, that was really hard work. Long day, up and down the step ladder, up and down the floor. I'm completely worn out now. It doesn't look too bad for a first coat, actually it's the undercoat. It was much harder than I expected. At the moment I can't hold the brush properly because of the side effect of chemotherapy and the hands don't work right. But somehow or other I've done it. I'm sure that if you're a painter you probably have plenty of constructive feedback and probably some that's not so constructive, but at the end of the day, and it is close to the end of the day now, it's white. By tomorrow it will be dry and ready for the next coat. So, thanks very much for watching. See you in the next video.